Welcome back to the Mobius podcast, where we talk about Sonic comics and occasionally non-Sonic comic related, though still Sonic related things. Though so far it has just been Sonic comics. I'm Vicious Phantom.
And I'm Chris, dude.
In the last part, we talked about Sonic the Hedgehog number 270, which was the third part of Champions. And in this part, we'll be talking about 271, the fourth and final part of the arc.
Yes. So, how does our grand finale begin?
Begins with the Sonic and Knuckles fight with a very oddly drawn panel.
I think it looks fine. You're great, actually.
It's just Sonic's legs. They're a little lanky.
Well, Sonic's become more lankier and lankier with time.
But it's just in contrast to the last issue's art, but we'll talk more about that when we actually get to the art part.
Yeah, so we get some flashbacks to previous bouts between Sonic and Knuckles.
2 from Sonic 3, I believe, and 1 from Sonic Battle, if I recall correctly.
No, I believe that second one is a reference to Sonic Adventure.
Possibly. Yeah, it might be. It looks, now that I think about it, it does look like that bit, just, with actual interaction.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Anyway,
Yeah.
the Grounder, Coconuts, and Scratch they found a Chaos Emerald. It's a flashback, actually. I just remembered that.
It's a flashback showing how Breezy got the emerald.
Yeah, they all have ultimately different ideas of what they should do with it. Scratch wants to use it. Scratch wants her to sell it to the highest bidder. Coconuts wants her to use it to turn her media empire into a literal empire. And Grounder, being stupid, wants her to make it into a snow globe.
You're ruining the moment. Shut up.
And then Breezy has her own plans, and well, I'm pretty sure you know by now how that went.
Yeah. We then get back to the fight, which just continues as a fight, and with a very awesome 2-page spread, by the way, of a bunch of characters reacting to it, as well as other panels of the fight.
Yeah. And there is some interaction between Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah.
Sonic is pretty much like, oh shit, should I throw the fight? Knuckles like, nah, I gotta blow off some steam.
Yeah, there's classic Sonic banter in there. Meanwhile, we cut to the hooligans, wherein Bean plants a bunch of bombs on the...
Actually, go back to the 2-page spread. Look at Amy's face.
Oh, holy shit! I never noticed that before.
He's like, fucking murder him.
I don't know if I'm showing that on screen, but if you bought the issue from Comixology, you know what I'm talking about, or if you've actually read it yourself.
Oh my god, I just love all the faces here. Vector's betting for someone, but I don't know who.
Probably Knuckles.
I know it showed Antoine is secretly voting for Knuckles. I guess he hasn't gotten over Sonic's years of abuse, and then random Meropolis OC.
Yeah, it's actually been pretty heavily theorized that is the princess of Meropolis that they mentioned, but we haven't actually seen.
Looks like she's rooting for Honey and Sonic.
Yeah, maybe she ships them.
Maybe. Amy is still my favorite one here.
Yeah. I like how Rouge is just kind of there, though. She's like,
He's like, you show him, honey. And then, I don't know what the hell's wrong with Sally, but okay.
Anyway, Bean plants a bunch of bombs on the casino's power grid using bubblegum, because Bean.
Yeah.
And on Knack's mark, with Bean replying Twain, and it took me a little bit to realize that joke when I initially read the issue.
What's the joke? I didn't even know there was a joke. I thought it was just Bean being the Sonic version of Deadpool.
Nah, it's a reference to Mark Twain, the author.
Oh. Well, golly gosh, you learn something every day.
But on that, he blows it up. And then Metal Sonic shows up.
Apparently Fang's plan was to have Sonic turn into the Werehog.
Maybe.
And he's like, what's wrong, Sonic? I thought you were supposed to transform at night.
Actually, on reflection, I think his plan was just to knock out the lights and then shoot one of them.
Yeah, he was planning on, obviously, Sonic.
Yeah. Murder!
Murder, but Metal Sonic stops him from doing that. Good job.
He breaks in and steals the Chaos Emerald because there's no security.
Yeah, even he's a bit confused by that.
Yeah. Sonic and everybody attempt to stop him.
But
they don't succeed, and he makes it up to the roof.
Yeah, possibly referencing how much of an OP piece of shit he was in the original game.
Maybe. But then Tails shows up and hits him with his tails.
And it actually hurts him for some reason.
Yeah, they seem to really push that Tails' tails can actually hurt things.
I mean, it was a pretty decent method of attacking people in Sonic Adventure 1, so...
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, realistically, we're talking... I mean, it might be irritating.
I still think it could hurt.
Yeah, maybe. Tails takes back the emerald, and then the security systems activate.
Conveniently.
Yeah. Robotnik tells Metal Sonic to get back to the base for repairs.
Metal Sonic, he's kind of...
Reluctantly agrees.
Yeah. Possibly for future development? I don't know.
Maybe. And then I guess Tails technically wins because he got the emerald. They're never really clear about who actually won the tournament. I guess nobody, and it just ended.
Sonic and Knuckles didn't even finish their fight.
Yeah, so I guess it just kind of ended.
Yeah. Then we have Honey talking to Breezy.
She signs a deal with Breezy about fitting Breezy's staff with exclusive Honey brand clothing.
And then she pretty much asks what the hell was up with the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Breezy's response is just, oh, business.
Yeah, business, man.
Yeah.
Honey leaves and looks absolutely horrified for some reason.
Because she's... Well, actually, I almost called Breezy the Lex Luthor of the Sonic universe, but I don't even know if that's true.
I don't know. We haven't seen enough of Breezy to really determine that, but I guess we'll find out later.
Yeah. For now, she's just an anti-villain, I guess.
She just will. Even then, she's just kind of doing her thing. Like the whole thing kind of is just business.
Yeah.
Anyway, after that, we cut to outside with Sonic's car.
From Transformed.
And I think the original, because they were basically the same. The only difference was they didn't transform; it could transform.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's the same.
Yeah. And, well, it actually is the one from Transform, because it can transform. As they're flying back to Sky Patrol, it becomes nighttime.
And Sonic meets Chip.
Yeah. And Sonic Hedgehog form scares the shit out of both of them.
He also looks...
Knuckles and Chip.
He also looks baked.
He does.
Issue ends with that guy from Apodos in Unleashed.
Yeah. Gregarios. I actually had to look and figure out his name because I had totally forgotten it. And he's basically like, I know how Sonic can fix everything.
Yep.
And dun dun dun.
And that's the end of the Champions.
The Champions ending was... I don't really know how else they could have ended it, but... It's still just kind of disappointing to have a fight that really doesn't have any resolution.
A fight between Sonic and Knuckles that didn't even get finished. It was completely interrupted.
Yeah, it had a good amount of like banter, but that was really about it.
Yeah, otherwise it's still enjoyable.
Yeah. Ultimately, Champions is a pretty decent arc. It's kind of slow and a little redundant and kind of dull with basically being 90% fights, but that's just an inherent issue that comes with adapting a fighting game, and for what it does it well.
Yeah.
Yeah. With this issue, Diana Skelly is not the only artist. We've also got Ryan Jompole on pencils. And as a result, the art I don't think is quite as good as the last two issues, although it is still good.
I mean, Amy face.
Yeah. It just looks a little odd sometimes, because their art styles are similar but different enough to the point where they don't really work well together.
Yeah. Well, then again, Ryan's more so just a Mega Man guy.
Yeah.
The cover is... I forgot what the variant was again.
The variant is a Rafa Knight cover with Sonic standing in front of a Sonic the Fighter's arcade cabinet.
And it has Amy about to fight Honey, which is bullshit. You can't play as Honey in the arcade version.
And you can't. You also couldn't... I don't think you could play as Amy in the HD, or as Honey in the HD release, because...
Yes,
or, at least, or at least you couldn't get that matchup, because the only way to play as Honey was basically an alternate select on Amy.
You can still play as Amy.
I know, but I mean, I don't think... Could you get that matchup, though, of Honey versus Amy?
Yeah.
Okay, then never mind. But it's a Rafa cover, so it looks really good always.
Yeah.
But it's not... It doesn't really reflect the issue. However, it's a variant, so I don't really think it's that big a deal.
The main cover is just all the characters in the arc fighting each other.
Yeah.
It looks nice.
It's cluttered as all hell because there's a lot going on, but it works. Tracy Yardley and Ben Hunziker did that one, and I really like how their art works together.
Yeah.
I hope we get to see a universe arc where they work together. It reminds me a lot, actually, of the artwork for the not the Silver Age, but the Silver Saga.
Actually, yeah. Yeah. Totally.
But that's Champions. Ultimately, enjoyable arc, while though flawed. Still good, though. I hope they'll come out with like a trade of it or something, because I'd buy it.
Man.
But
it was just fun to see such a obscure game transferred into a comic arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, yeah, it's not one of the best.
Yeah,
still very fun.
It's still worth a read, though, if you're looking for something that's just fun.
Oh yeah.
But that's all for Champions. I don't know what the next old arc will be covering. Maybe it'll be maybe we'll do Waves of Change just for the hell of it, or maybe we'll go to the way older stuff and not be so positive about it.
Yeah. I might have to just start reading some of the old issues that I've been avoiding up till whenever.
Yeah, I stopped on issue 65 a while ago. I need to get back to it. But as always, you'll find links to the last two videos on screen. Not gonna recite them because I honestly don't even know which ones are going to be on screen anymore. And you'll find links to both of our Twitters in the description, as well as a link to Chris's channel in the description.
Yep.
Good outro. We'll see you guys next time for whatever the hell we do next.
Yeah.